Hello, everybody. Miss Jackie Russell here. And there's terrible, freaky recalls this week. And yeah, I seem to be bringing y'all a lot of news of recalls, and I'm kind of flabbergasted at how many there are this week. And you are just not going to believe which products they are and what the contamination is. It is crazy. And if we have time in this video, it's going to be story time, and I'm going to share a story of how I met David Frizzell, the country singer. So it's very an unusual meeting, let's just put it that way. But this is Vicki. Miss Jackie Russell is my channel, and we're going to get started with these Freaky Friday recalls. That's right. It seems like I'm starting to be a news announcer about all these Freaky Friday recalls. But I care so much about your health and your well-being, as well as my own family. And I feel like I'd be remiss not letting you know about these recalls. So sit back, maybe grab a soda or whatever and join me. I do have some water here. Oh, guys, it's 80 degrees today. That's right, 80 degrees. I'm going to show you on my phone. I went out for a walk and about just like burned down. There you go, 80 degrees, Wills Point. Wow, we were zero almost last week and with negative 12 wind chills, and now we're 80 degrees. That's Texas for you. We're probably the only state that you can have winter, summer, fall, and spring in a week. That's right. I mean, our weather is so crazy and so freaky. That's right, Freaky Friday. But guys, today I want to get serious with these recalls, and I want to let you know what they are. And the first one is a product that I refer to you all on a regular basis. Now, this is not the same brand that I use and or have told you that I like, but it doesn't matter. In your location, you might have found this. You might have purchased it because you thought, hey, Miss Jackie said that turmeric supplement is good for me. And it is, but in 30 states, over 40,000 bottles were found to have mold contamination. That's right. Freaky. But the FDA has classified the recall of Qunol, Qunol, turmeric capsules as Class 2, indicating a remote risk of serious injury to health consequences of eating, or ingesting mold. About 42,740 bottles were recalled due to mold contamination, including specific 60 and 120 count lots expiring in October 2028. Consumers should stop using the affected product and return it to their retailers like CVS, Wegmans for full refunds. Now, I don't know. We have CVS here. We don't have Wegmans or Wegmans, Wegmans, in case I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. The ongoing recall of the 42,000 bottles is happening across several states. And I don't know if they're going to tell us that here, but the identifying product is extra strength turmeric, 1,000 milligrams, 60 count, and then Qunol extra strength turmeric, 1,000 milligrams, 120 count. And it's got the lot, product code, and all that, and I'll run that across there so you'll know which ones they are and you can check it. Now, the states that they're contaminated is Alabama, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Nevada, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, yes, and Virginia and Wisconsin. So those are a lot of states, and if you shop at CVS in Texas, I would definitely be looking if you recently purchased that. But it says you could go back to your retailer for a full refund. So that was my first Freaky Friday recall. What do you think about that? How do I feel about it? Well, number one, I'm glad there's a recall and I'm glad they're letting us know. But it is very, very scary to know that we're having so many crazy and bad, freaky recalls. Now, the second one that I have to tell you about is a recall alert from Costco. And I don't purchase anything from Costco, but it's the Costco Bakery Item pulled from shelves in 22 states. So, I mean, again, Freaky Friday recalls. Maybe I should change this to that. I don't know. But anyway, here's my report. Costco has recalled a bakery item sold in 22 states. The mini, I guess it's Baignets. I don't know how to pronounce it. Baignets, Beignets, with caramel actually contained a chocolate hazelnut filling, resulting in undeclared allergen. Return to Costco for a refund. So if you have purchased any of these mini baguettes, I guess with the caramel in it, because it says there's a risk of a life-threatening allergen, and people have been reacting to it, maybe from the hazelnut allergies, and maybe they didn't put that information on there. I don't know. But that's what it says. And it's one particular lot number sold from January 16th to January 30th, 2026. And my goodness, I hope you haven't already eaten them, but you could have them frozen, sitting in your freezer and not realizing it. The item number is 1181272, and the Baignets were sold at stores in Alabama, Arizona, California, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Iowa, Louisiana, Michigan, Missouri, Nevada, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, and Washington. So it says your action you should do is to take it back, and try to get a refund. It also says you can visit Costco customer service page and possibly ask them about it and, I guess maybe get a refund. It really doesn't say you're going to get a refund. It just says to contact your Costco customer service page. So I don't have Costco because, we have one about 45 miles, but there's no real reason for me, I don't think, to go visit Costco. But if you do, then that might be a real reason to check your inventory to see if you bought those Baignets with that caramel and the hazelnut filling. So that was recall number 2. Now I've got another recall. There's more this week, and I want to go over this one. This one is something you might not expect, so it's pretty freaky. FDA announces recall of more than 80,000 bottles of mouthwash. That's right, sold nationwide. So again, we have another large amount, or as far as spread out across the USA, there's 85,000 bottles of Parodontax Active Gum Health Mouthwash have been recalled. The bottles have missing or illegible lot codes and expiration dates. So the FDA gave the recall the lowest risk. So it's not major, so I guess I freaked out for a little more than I should. It's not as major as it was. It's because their information on there is inconclusive. But they've got the lot numbers on there. The expiration is 8/31/2027. And it says, what should you do? You should contact, I guess, Parodontax website. And it doesn't give me the website name, but it poses a safety risk. I don't know why. The FDA did not provide a specific instruction for this recall, but the product are unlikely to pose a safety risk. The recall is only given because of the missing code information. So really and truly, guys, this is my personal opinion. It doesn't have the date on there. We know it expires in 2027. So if you do have that in your home, you might want to just mark that the expiration date is 2027. I would think most of you that use mouthwash are going to have that done way sooner, and it really isn't that big a deal. So that one turned out not to be so freaky, and I'm so happy because it's getting kind of weird having all these weird things going on. Now, the next one is kind of an ugly story and very freaky. And I wasn't going to tell y'all, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you. Nearly 2,000 products recalled in 3 states after being exposed to rodent waste. FDA issues risk warning. And it's only in 3 states. Well, it's 2,000 products, so it's different products, I think, including food, cosmetic, drugs, and more in 3 states. And the items were stored in an unsanitary facility with rodent and bird waste, posing serious health risks. Now, yeah, if any of the packages had gotten broken into and the mice or rats or whatever kind of rodent or bird had got into it, that would be a major freaky situation. I would not want to be there. And many of the affected products are from major brands as Coca-Cola, Hershey's, and Tylenol. So this is a major recall, and it says for all the products under this recall, you can be viewed at FDA website. So I guess fda.org or .com, and then you would probably put in their name. There's an attachment. Okay, you know what I'll do? I'll put that link in my description for you guys so that you can read it in case there's something in there that you've purchased. But remember, it's in 3 states. The 3 states are Indiana, Minnesota, and North Dakota. And if you're in any of those states, you might want to take a look, because it's beverages like Diet Coke, Mountain Dew, Snapple, the candies, Hershey's, Reese's, Kit Kat, Snickers, M&M's, Starburst. Salty snacks are like Pringles and Chex Mix, pantry staples or Cheerios, Quaker, Chef Boyardee, Kraft mac and cheese, Ragu. And again, I want to say I do think these are being stored there to be shipped out, but since I'm not actually there, I don't know that for sure. And medications are like Tylenol, Advil, Motrin, Excedrin, Pepto-Bismol, NyQuil, and then personal cares like Colgate, Crest, Vaseline, Always, Tampax, Trojan, Dove Axe, and pet is Purina, Friskies, Meow Mix, and Fancy Feast. So what should you do? It says the FDA is urging customers to destroy any of the affected products they have right away. Gold Star will provide refunds, and you can call the company at, and here's the number, write it down, 612-617-9800. So you can call them directly for a refund, and they want you to get them out of your home. So that's kind of really freaky, isn't it? I mean, candy and all kinds of stuff that we buy for our normal everyday life eating, for enjoyment, and people probably bought stuff for the Super Bowl and all kinds of stuff. So, check that. And if you hadn't already heard of it, but those were my freaky Friday news reports as far as recall reports. And I hope y'all are enjoying this. And remember, it's an open collaboration, and anyone can do this with hashtag Freaky Friday Report or hashtag Freaky Friday Stories. And you can do a combination of both like I do. You can do it however you want. Just please use those taglines if you decide you're going to do this. You could even use hashtag Freaky Friday too. But I would encourage you to use the first 2 for sure. And the third one would be, not bad. I use it too. So those would be the ones that I would suggest using, and it is an open collab. Now, I was going to tell y'all if I had time, and I think I do, about me meeting David Frizzell. Do you know who he is? Well, he's a country singer, and maybe I should tell the story from the back end of this. Okay, when I lived in Corpus Christi, my husband and I had some friends, and we decided one night that we would go to this. It was like a dancing place where you could go. Of course, they served alcohol there too, but I can't remember. It wasn't like a regular bar, but it was a big place outside of Corpus Christi going toward San Antonio, but it was in the Corpus Christi district. And we decided we'd go there because they had good dancing and they usually had a live band. And usually getting in was free or a nominal $5 or something. So we thought, okay, let's go out there and let's go dancing and have a little fun. There were 4 of us. And we got there and we walked up to to get in. And when we got to the door, they told us that there's going to be a cover charge of $20 a person. And guys, okay, this is really not about money, because at that time I was making a 6-figure income. So money wasn't the issue. It was the issue that I was going somewhere that I thought was going to have a $5 cover, and it ended up having a $20 cover for somebody I'd never heard of. And when they told us that, I go, for what? Why would we pay $20 to come in there to go dancing? That's just so ridiculous. I'm not going to do that. What's the big deal? I don't understand it, but I don't know about you. And I was talking to the other couple. I said, but I'm not going to pay $40 for us to go in here and hear somebody we've never heard of. And they kept saying David Frizzell. And I was like, David Frizzell, that don't mean nothing to me. I don't even know what you're talking about. And why would I want to pay $20 per each of us to see him? Well, we went back to our car kind of huffy-puffy and, was sitting there. And I can't remember whose vehicle we was in, but this man, like a bouncer, started walking up to the vehicle, and he was kind of walking like that, had him a little stride, and we were like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? I said, did we say something that was really bad, that they're going to come after us or something? And he knocked on the window, and my husband, or Joe, I don't remember who, but rolled it down, and we said, yeah, and he goes, I'm here because Mr. Frizzell was standing outside smoking a cigarette when you, pointed at me, were having such a fit about why in the world would I want to pay $20 to get in to see somebody I've never heard of. And he is inviting you to be his personal guest. He's going to have you at his personal guest table, and drinks are on the house for you guys tonight as you enjoy his music and dance. Well, I felt maybe about this tall, perhaps, because I didn't know who he was. And that he was standing out there and heard my ferocious protest of, I'm not going to go pay one dime for anybody I've never heard of. And David Frizzell was popular, and Kevin tried to tell me that when we were walking back to the vehicle. He goes, you know who Sally West is, or Shelley West? And I said, yeah, I've heard of Shelley West. He goes, well, he sings a lot of songs with her. I said, oh, really? And I don't know what the name of the songs were, but he had a lot of hits in the 80s and into 2009 or something, somewhere in that range. Now, when we were there, that was 1992 or 3. So he had several songs out, and I just did not know who he was. And I didn't want to pay to see somebody that I didn't even know who it was. And I'll run his kind of little picture across there. He's 84 years old today. So, he's still alive and kicking. I don't think he's singing anymore. But that's how I met him. I know, I'm terrible, right? But I just couldn't get past that. And I'll have to say, when I was younger, and I would probably say, if this was 93, I was 33 years old, and I was very outspoken. And I wasn't afraid to say what I thought, and I'm still not. But I think over the years, I'm a little bit more tactful, would be the way to say it, in something that I might disagree or not want to do. But I would say back then, I probably just blurted that out, and I didn't know he was standing there because I don't even know what he looks like. But apparently he was standing right there smoking a cigarette, getting ready to start his show. So anyways, that's how I met David Frizzell and how I got to be his guest on the house, front row seat, so to speak. And and we had a really good time. And I thanked him, of course, afterwards, and I apologized that I didn't know. I did recognize a couple of his songs while we were there. So I did tell him thank you and that I was sorry I didn't know who he was. I just didn't know his name. And I'm terrible about that. I'll listen to music, but I may not know who wrote it, who sung it, or anything. I just know if I like the song or not. And that particular time, I didn't know him, and I wasn't going to pay it. I just wasn't going to do it. $20 back then, $20 now is not that much, but $20 in the 90s was a lot of money. $20 per person, if you put it in retrospect of the timing, when we thought we were going to pay $5. So their regular cover charge went up $15. And like I said, back then that was a lot, but I wasn't going to pay it. That was my story. And I hope y'all like my little story times that I kind of toss in on the end here just to kind of liven up things. And that was freaky, don't you think? Would you think that some guy bouncing up to your car, kind of walking toward you, and you just insulted somebody you really didn't know? And not only did you insult him, it was the person that was supposed to be the receiver of the $20, I guess. But anyways, that's what happened. And I guess I'll never forget that one story because of probably because of the way I reacted, but I will have to say I always had people saying, man, you better get with Vicky. She can get in places that nobody else can, or they have things that nobody else ever has that happen to them. And boy, I've got some more stories that you might want to hear. But for today, on this Freaky Friday, that's all that I have. And I hope you take heed to the recalls if they're in your area. If you purchase any of those products, please, please go check and make sure that you don't have them in your pantry or in your bathroom, anywhere those type products would be. And let me know, do you like these recalls and these little stories that I do on Freaky Fridays? Please leave me a comment down below and tell me what you like about it. Tell me what you don't like about it. But I hope you're enjoying this. I'm just trying to bring y'all more content and meaningful content as well. I still do beauty, and I'll still be doing some makeovers. And you just seen I had a Prime Pro Medics. Get ready with me. And my icon box is going to be coming up real soon, or should I say the ultimate. And my FabFitFun, just so y'all know, I don't know how to say this. I canceled my original FabFitFun. It came up for renewal for the spring box, and I did not renew it. I had 2 boxes left on my second box, and no matter how I tried or where I looked, I could not get fast shipping. I looked everywhere to subscribe for that, and I guess you have to do that when you first subscribe because they didn't even offer it to me. So I don't know when I'll get my FabFitFun box, but I'll get it out to you as soon as I can. I have a QVC and a new promotional product that's going to be coming out next week. So be sure and be on the lookout for that. But as for today and my Freaky Friday, that's all I have. And as usual, I wish you all a blessed and happy day. Bye-bye.